darn. I was supposed to build that tool shed this afternoon.
Tool shed? What's so hard about that? I got some wood left over from the storm.
I got a hammer.
I don't know. I'm gonna need to run some electricity in there, I think.
Oh, my cousin, he got a degree in that electricity. He could rig something up.
I got a bunch of that black electrical tape.
Yeah, my old lady says I gotta get a permit.
Permit.
For a tool shed?
Permit.
You need a permit for all home improvement projects in Terrebonne Parish. Even small projects, patio covers, driveways are required to get building permits, and they have to be in conformity with the state uniform construction codes. It's very important that individuals are able to build and get utilities where they build, because not all of Terrebonne Parish has water service. Not all of Terrebonne Parish can be served by the Board of Health with mechanical treatment plants. So it's very important that individuals know that they are building on a legal lot of record that can be developed. Even if you get the necessary permits from the State Fire Marshal's Office and the Board of Health and Coastal Zone Management, you still need a building permit from the permit office to do the construction legally. You can come to the office at the government towers at the corner of Barrow and Main Street, Suite 401. The permit office is open from 8 to 4:30, and you can apply for a permit at that time. When you come here, you'll have the opportunity to talk to a permit clerk, and they'll work you through the system, or you can go online, tpcg.org. Once a building permit is obtained, then you're permitted to have that type of use in that particular area.
This is ridiculous. All this for a lousy tool shed. My dad built this whole house and he probably didn't even have a permit.
They probably didn't give out permits back then in the floodplain. Maybe we should hire someone to help us.
Help? My buddies are all the help I need.
I wouldn't suggest using the advice of friends and relatives. I would always go to the permit office to get that advice. If not, it could be very costly and time-consuming. A problem could be with a tool shed is that what if you're building it on a utility servitude, or you're building it on an easement for a telephone line? You may have to tear up your shed at a later date just to allow the utility company to come in and maintain their lines. If an individual doesn't get a building permit and there's a stop work notice placed on the property, then there is a possibility that the utilities could be removed from the structure. Then they have to come into the planning and zoning office, apply for a permit, and the fee is doubled. Drainage is a huge concern for all developers, all builders in Terrebonne Parish because of the hurricanes, the amount of flooding that can occur from torrential rainstorms, as well as riverine flooding that we could get from the Atchafalaya River. All subdivisions are designed to the Stormwater Drainage Design Manual to make sure that new developments don't impede or obstruct natural drainage. 80% of the parish is within a floodplain. Those are areas that can be inundated by flooding in a 100-year event. We've seen a spike in home elevations throughout Terrebonne Parish after Hurricane Juan in 1985. And the parish has participated with individuals with hazard mitigation grants. Funds have been utilized for elevations, as well as severely repetitive loss structures. Since the new building codes came out in 2006, we've seen much higher quality in the home elevation of structures throughout the parish. In fact, none of the homes that were elevated over the past 15 years have been flooded by new hurricanes. So this is a flood protection technique that has worked very well. You need a permit for any home improvements. Elevations are included. We won't issue a building permit unless they do have a certified contractor doing the work to elevate the structure. They would need an elevation certificate of the ground elevation to know how high they have to elevate the structure, to be at the base floor elevation. Those base flood elevations are different all over the parish. In downtown Houma, just off of Bayou Terrebonne, it may be 6-foot elevation, but the further down the bayou you go, those elevations increase. Chauvin may be 10 or 12-foot elevation, and then once you get past Boudreaux Canal and Little Caya, it goes up to 15-foot elevation. There are inspections all along the way. The final elevation certificate that is done by a registered licensed surveyor tells us that the structure was built to the proper elevation. There are concessions for structures that are built below the base flood elevation. It would have to be a commercial building or a storage facility, but any inhabited floor area would have to be elevated above the base flood elevation. Permits range in cost from $25 to, in some cases, a couple of $1,000s. It just depends on the amount of the work. If it's a new construction, if it's a minor renovation, you can get a permit for as little as $25, but if you're building a large house, it may cost in a range of $2,000. It's a lump sum that allows an individual to get the plan review and inspections done without any additional cost. By individuals getting building permits in the entire community, it lowers the rates of flood insurance, home insurance, fire insurance. All of these insurance rates are lower when you have a unified building permit process in place for a community. If people don't apply for permits and conform to the building codes, then it's very likely that the premiums will go up on home insurance and flood insurance. So it's very important that everyone conform to these regulations. Building in conformity to the building codes protects not only your structure, but also the whole neighborhood. It carries out the vision of Terrebonne Parish. It will sustain a community that we all love and cherish.
What's that noise?
I don't know. I must have left the water running and the electricity's off.
Oh, there's water up to my knee.
Oh my God, but why?
That stupid tool shed. It blocked the runoff.
Runoff?
The runoff on page 1 of that permit you didn't apply for?
Oh, that runoff.